Welcome to the Local Business Insider Podcast with the Small Business Owners Alliance. This is a space where we sit down with real entrepreneurs and talk about the wins, the lessons, and the honest moments that come with running a business. I'm your host, Nicole Redinbaugh, small business owner, insurance broker, and founder of the Small Business Owners Alliance here in the Omaha-area. Whether you're local to Nebraska or just love learning from real-world business stories, you're in the right place.
Thanks so much for joining us here at the Small Business Owners Alliance podcast. We're glad to have you here today. And one of our guests that we are going to be interviewing is with us here, Janece Ferris of Village Roots. So excited to have you here. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk with you.
Oh, absolutely. And today we just want to kind of kick off, get to know a little bit more about Village Roots and kind of the nonprofit world that you've become a part of here. I think that's something a lot of business owners don't always realize, how the intricacies work between the two worlds and how much overlap there is too. So I would love to just kind of kick it off. If you could just kind of share what led you to get into the nonprofit side of things, and what about specifically with Village Roots?
Yeah, so thanks. I will go back in time a little bit. I have been in the social work, caseworker, foster care world for almost 15 years now. I started as a caseworker at Nebraska Families Collaborative was the name of the agency. And I just kind of fell in love with the work and the families. My husband and I are what I call a retired foster parents. We have a 28-year-old adopted daughter, and then we have a 7 and a 4-year-old biological sons. And we have also fostered 3 girls in the past. And we learned a lot through that time. They were with us in total for about a year. We got to see firsthand really how hard their mom had to work to get them to come home, and all of the things she had to do every day and be at all of the places and all of the appointments while maintaining her job. So we saw firsthand just a lot of what she overcame for her family. And we also really saw that the only place those girls actually wanted to be was with her. They loved her. She wasn't perfect, but she was their mom. And they've been home with her for going on 4 years now, successfully loving life, doing great. And so I just really started to have a bigger passion for helping the families and not just the kids or not just the system. But that's what led me to Village Roots. So I've been here for almost 3 years, and our focus is on the whole family and on preventing foster care or reunifying after they've been in foster care.
That's wonderful. What a beautiful story. And thank you so much for serving and sharing the love of your home in that way. I think that's such an important thing that we need in this community, because it really does take a village to raise kids. So I love that part of your name with Village Roots. I think that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, my background, I have 2 kiddos that we adopted through foster care, and so
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, definitely holds a special place in my heart as well. And yeah, I love that phrase. What did you say? Retired foster parents.
Yeah, retired.
Yeah. We, it's always a journey. We never expected to adopt, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of need out there to help the families. Once you're in foster care, the kids and the families supporting them get a lot of services, for the foster families. But I think sometimes having that extra support for the biological families, could have either prevented it from getting to that point or, help with the process to keep that unification a permanent situation and not have it repeat the cycle. So
Right. I think over 60% of kids come into care because of neglect. And so often that's tied to poverty. And we work with families that have experienced trauma and things through their own lives. And so helping them before it becomes a crisis, before the kids are unsafe and have to go to foster care, and prevent as much as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's such a wonderful mission and story of what you're doing and to help make a difference in the community and what Village Roots is doing. So curious, as we kind of talked a little bit in preparing for this. We mentioned that there's a lot of things that nonprofits do that kind of overlap with small businesses. Obviously, there's some distinctions for sure, but a lot of the goals are kind of the same. Would love to kind of hear your perspective on what can make a meaningful partnership between nonprofits and small businesses who want to help their local community.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think there's a huge overlap in small businesses, especially we are a small nonprofit, and we run as a business. We have to be able to be sustainable to continue serving families. But we partner with a lot of different businesses. And one of my favorite phrases that I've stolen from foster care was just everybody can do something. And so, obviously as a nonprofit, we need funds to be able to continue serving families. That's just what it is. But that's not the only thing that we need or the only way that a business can help. And so some of my favorite partnerships have just been a group of volunteers comes maybe from one office. And then after they've learned a little bit, they do a collection drive at their office and get household supplies to help another family. There's just so many different ways to get involved, coming to our golf tournament with a team to learn more about it, and sharing a Facebook post, right? That's huge for any small business. There's so many ways to partner together. And then on the flip side, as the nonprofit receiving the help, how can I promote that business and share that business and support that business too? Because I do want it to be a partnership and a two-way street.
Yeah, no, I think that's so important. And you're right, as in the small business community, we hear a lot of people say like, hey, it doesn't have to cost anything to support us, like, comment, share, social media posts, or, invite a friend to follow us, those types of things. I think all of that definitely can make a big difference for any business, even our nonprofit businesses, because I think that's really something that, the Facebooks and Instagrams and other social media platforms of the world tend to like to, get you to pay for ads, and that monetary piece can be tough, especially if you are working on a smaller scale. And I imagine, as a nonprofit, you'd rather those funds go towards those who you're serving rather than the big corporations paying for that ad space.
Right,
So,
absolutely. I want to keep as much money directly helping those families as we can. So any
yeah.
organic and natural ways that other people can learn about us,
Mhm.
like a small business, people don't necessarily always know who Village Roots is or what we do. So any way to get that word out there.
That's great. So yeah, I mean, if somebody is a little tight on funds and maybe can't donate monetarily, now you mentioned that they can volunteer. What types of volunteer work do you usually have a need for?
We have a community closet, so we stock clothes for all ages, kids and parents. We stock household essential items like towels and bedding, anything you might need really when you're moving into a new house. Most of the families that we work with have been homeless and are transitioning into housing. And so, you're often starting with nothing. So we really try to stock anything that they might need. We also do house hygiene items.
Okay.
And so just collecting a drive, if everybody donated a roll of toilet paper or a pack of toilet paper,
Mhm.
that goes a long way.
That's
But
great.
then also coming in and helping sort through those items, keeping that, we always have clothes coming in. So being able to have some help sorting through that and getting it ready for the next person that needs it is huge.
That's great. Yeah, no, I think that's a fantastic point, is making sure you're getting quality donations, but then, yeah, the help to sort and prep it.
Mhm.
How does that work when a client comes in for you guys to access it, or receive some of the benefits? Are they going in and kind of shopping themselves, or is it something that you have a partner with Village Roots that gets the items for them, or what does that look like usually?
We try to be as flexible as possible, and we moved to a new space in January, so we're still feeling out all of the processes, but
Mhm.
we have, for the most part, just done it by appointment. So if
Okay.
a school knows somebody that has a need, they often refer them to us, and then we just say, when do you want to come in and shop? If transportation's a barrier or they can't make it in, we can also shop and find what sizes they need or what things they might like and drop it off to them. So it's really based on what the family needs and when they're available.
I love how flexible that is. And congratulations on your new space. That's got to be exciting, but I'm sure it's a lot of work getting set up too. So,
Thank you. Yes, I think being a social worker, learning the business side of things has been super fun and stressful, and just I've learned a ton.
yeah, I think most anybody, like, I mean, I know you're talking from the nonprofit space, but I think most anybody that starts a business, a lot of times we start it because we have a passion for what work we're doing. And you start the business and realize how many other things you have to know and do and be involved in and on top of. And it really can be a lot of work. And that's why, at Small Business Owners Alliance, we really try to help make those connections to get you in front of the people that can help support what you're doing, or fill that void for you if something is, unfamiliar, or you're going through that learning process. And I love that it sounds like you guys do that at Village Roots too, to bring community together to help your clients as well.
Yes,
Um,
yeah, it is a parallel there.
For sure. What do you think nonprofits and businesses can learn from each other?
I mean, I think, like we were just saying, there's so many things that are similar, and we are running a business where we have to have HR processes and hiring and, benefits and keeping staff. All of those things are important to both of us in a business or a nonprofit.
Mhm.
We're also trying to get our name and our story out there. And I think sometimes a nonprofit might be better at the story. But there
Mhm.
is a story for everybody. The insurance agent that I met with this week, that their passion is helping people like me that don't understand insurance be able to take that off of my plate so I don't have to try to learn more. Um,
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great, and I think that's a good point for sure. Being an insurance agency owner myself, we work with a lot of nonprofits and yeah, small businesses too, and yeah, trying to help educate in a way that can make sense and collaborate. But I love the point you made about the storytelling because I do think that for some people that just doesn't come as naturally as others, but stories that invoke those emotions really can make a big difference. So
yeah. And even for, that's where I was going with it. The insurance agent, that is part of their story. We do
yeah,
this so you don't have to. And being able to tell that is important, I think.
absolutely. Yeah, I think that definitely is a good point because I think especially for something like insurance, you don't really nobody really loves paying insurance, right? It's just the there just in case, and you hope you never have to use it. And when you do have to use it, if you do have to use it, it's amazing how powerful it can be to turn a crisis into something that's at least more manageable because you have the resources and support to get through it. And until you have walked in those shoes, it's easy to just be like, it'll never happen to me, or, oh, this is just another annoying bill, or whatever the case is. But yeah, it can really be the thing that makes or breaks a business and whether or not they're able to keep going after a claim. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's important to have that person in your corner.
absolutely. What
Okay.
are some ways local businesses can collaborate with nonprofits that genuinely help the community? I know that you mentioned, like the volunteering and, doing a drive for some of the goods that you need. Is there anything else or any more specific examples that might come to mind?
Yeah, so we, for example, have our golf tournament coming up here in June, and we're working with businesses to get sponsors for the golf tournament. And it's helpful because it's our biggest fundraiser of the year. Again, so funds are great, but we also just want to have people in the room that learn about what we're doing and get to
Mhm.
see firsthand some of that. And so, it's helpful. Again, as a partnership, it goes both ways. Your team can come out and have a fun day. I think it's a great day on the golf course. You're helping us, and we want to get back to them as well. So that's an example, is always sponsorships of an event or participating in the event. We have some businesses that have allowed us to come out and share with their teams about what we do. So we've provided some of that education, like the intricacies of the foster care world. But I think a lot of people are usually surprised when they hear the 60% statistic about neglect. It
Yeah.
opens people's eyes. And so just being able to share that with people so that they're more aware of what's happening right here in Omaha and how they can be involved, because maybe they know somebody that wants to open their house as a foster parent, or for our program, we put the whole family in the home. And so maybe they want to do that. And maybe they know somebody that would rent an apartment to somebody that doesn't have the best background. So a lot of it is just that connections, which I think in the small business world, we know already is so valuable.
That's great. Yeah, I think those are some really neat ways to get involved. And I love too that like the idea of an event like that, it's kind of twofold. You can feel good as a business owner about you are, giving back and helping support such a great cause like with Village Roots, but also it's a team building day, right? Or it's a networking opportunity too. So, I mean, I think you can look at it from that perspective too as a business owner. It's not only just marketing and putting your logo on something. You're getting that experience and photo ops and all of that. And I think, I don't know about you, but I always forget to take pictures at events or never get as many as I want. But that kind of real organic photo opportunities that you can share on social media and that sort of thing, I think that goes a long ways. Like I know at least in the groups I manage and pages I manage, I always see a lot more engagement on social media when there's actually like a human face involved,
Yes.
or especially a group, or if you're tagging other pages and that sort of thing too.
Right. It's a win-win both ways. It's credibility for both organizations. And we do try to make sure that, yeah, it's not just us asking for money, right? Like it's helping a real mission and it's helping us go farther.
That's great. Yeah, I love that. And so I guess kind of thinking a little bit more about what you said earlier too about, the supporting the whole family, and, being able to maybe rent to somebody with a different background. Is that something that you guys do a lot of at Village Roots, is like coordinating some of that housing, or is that just a small piece of it? Or if you could give us a little bit more detail on some of the services specifically you do offer to families to help.
Yeah, I realized I kind of left that out at the beginning. So Village Roots was established. We have a program. It's called Integrated Family Care or Shared Family Care. And it is essentially like whole family foster care. So the mentor is what we call them, opens their home and allows the family to move in, mom, dad, kids, whatever that specific family looks like. And they help mentor them in the day-to-day things like how to plan meals and put structure and routines in for their families. And they kind of become an extended family member, like an aunt or a grandparent. And then our staff come alongside and do the case management piece. So we teach budgeting skills, some more of the meal planning, community resources, employment, parenting skills, whatever that family needs, we're going to build up while they're in that home. And at the same time, we're looking for stable housing that they can maintain on their own once they leave the program.
That's wonderful. And if somebody wants to be a part of that as a host family for that type of a setup, do they still go through like the normal licensing process, at least in Nebraska, but or is that a little bit of a different setup than that way?
It's close. We have some training and we do the home study and the background check process. So a lot of similarities to the foster parent training. But they're not fully licensed in Nebraska.
That makes sense. I think that's a nice middle ground for somebody who maybe wants to help but doesn't feel like they can completely commit to being the solo provider for kiddos too, and a nice hybrid opportunity to make that difference. That's great.
It's really great with empty nesters, so people whose kids have left and gone to college and they have the space. And then, we have a lot of retired foster parents. They've been supporting kids, and it's a lot to raise those kids. And so they want to move into a different area, but still give back.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think those are some great ideas too on ways that, even that non-monetary support can make a difference too. So that's wonderful. If a business is interested in learning more about Village Roots, whether it be for somebody maybe they can connect you with that's in need of your services, or that they want to give back to you, what's kind of the best way to reach out and get that process started?
So we are on all the social medias, and they can send a message. It comes right to me, small business team of 3. You wear all the hats, right?
Yep.
But also just www.villageroots.family is our website. And they can reach out there too.
Wonderful. That's great. Well, we'll make sure in the show notes that we include all of your contact information and links to your socials and website, so that that's easy to access for anybody who's watching today. But really want to go ahead and thank you so much, Janece, for being a part of this here. For those of you watching, please don't forget to give Village Roots a follow. We'd also really appreciate if you could like, comment, and subscribe to us here at the Local Business Insider Podcast to get more valuable conversation and tips from other local business professionals with the Small Business Owners Alliance Network. Until next time, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.